Alrighty. We're here for another exciting Sunday Fun Day podcast that usually goes on Monday, but now it's Tuesday, so probably Wednesday. We need a new name.
It's got a little out of hand, but
we need a new name.
Yeah, we'll come up with something. It's cool. It's working out the kinks.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, this is our Valentine's Day podcast, a little after Valentine's Day. We don't have our boys with us, which is kind of sad, but this is going to be a cool, fun girls podcast. Yay!
Otherwise known as the Singles Podcast.
Yes.
So, Hannah, how was your Valentine's Day?
It was good. I went to St. Louis to visit my family, but it was super last minute, and my dad woke me up really early the next morning so we could hang out and talk. And he brought down these two presents. I was like, oh my god, yes. He's like, oh, I forgot you were coming. I didn't know you were coming home. So these are just for your sisters. He's like, cool. That's
Ouch,
fine.
Dad.
Which is, obviously it's fine. He always gets us really nice gifts. One year he got us each a big box of chocolate covered strawberries, but then had a note on top that was on each of them that was like, you're my favorite, don't tell your sisters. And I didn't get them anything, so don't tell them. So we were all walking around for 3 days thinking oh man, I'm Dad's favorite. And then I walked in on Victoria eating hers, and I'm like, girl, are those mine? She's like, no, these are mine. And we were so shocked and appalled. It was really funny.
That's fantastic.
So that was,
good time. Fantastic. So then when did you get back?
Last night.
Oh, 10. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's pretty cool.
That's fun.
What'd you do for yours?
I didn't do much. I worked. Woo, basketball games and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no. So the night before Valentine's Day, I was home all weekend because I started my new job and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And we have this gala charity event thing at my church, and it's a big auction, silent auction, dinner, all this fancy stuff. And so my mom had this beautiful idea to sit there and get me and her and then 3 of her friends to sit there and go to this event. We took up almost an entire table. We're sitting there having a grand old time. The alcohol was flowing, and we were just sitting there just having a blast. And by the end of the night, we had old ladies at the tables next to us that are all church-going, proper Catholic people.
Yeah.
And they were giving us such dirty looks.
Oh man.
We were sitting there getting side-eyed by everybody, and I was like, you know what? You're just jealous.
Yeah.
You wish you could be us.
That's so funny.
It was entertaining. But, that's about all I did.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think what else? Oh, my family got new baby chicks, little chickens. 3 cute ones. We haven't named them or anything yet, but I think they're also gonna be chicken nuggets. I don't think we're gonna name anything.
Nugs.
And then we got, the farm always sucks me in. My dad, he's like, hey, we're gonna go buy some guns. Do you wanna come? I'm like, yeah.
Yes.
He's like, hey, we're gonna get some new chickens. Do you wanna come? Of course. And then he had one more thing. I can't remember what it was. I think we went to go get more chickens, because why? We need more. Oh, and another goat. We're getting a baby goat.
Yay!
That was born last Sunday.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So
I know if you get a dog, you have to wait until it's 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. How long do you have to wait to get a baby goat?
I don't know. I just know that we bought it. So I think we're getting it in March.
That's exciting.
I know.
Does it have a name yet?
I think we're just gonna name it Napoleon. Actually, one of the goats we had before named Napoleon died. He just got really sick or whatever, and I didn't tell Liz because Liz loves goats. So I was like, oh, just one of the chickens died. Because my mom called me and was like, hey, I don't know how you're gonna take this. I just want you to be prepared. And I'm thinking my dog is dead. And I love my dog. So I was freaking out Mom, just say it. She's like, well, Napoleon died. I'm like, oh well, it's just a goat.
It's a goat.
For a month. So we're getting a new goat, and we're just gonna tell my little brother that Napoleon just got his big boy fur, and he's just a different color. So we're not really sure. Yeah, but he's gonna be so much smaller though. He doesn't have his horns yet or anything. We're pretty excited about it. He's super cute.
So okay, what types of animals do you have?
Well, we leased horses for a while because we wanted to see how we all dealt with them.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of naughty horses, but we're probably still gonna get some. We want a milk cow, so we're gonna get one of those pretty soon. I don't know if they have a special name. We should call them milk cow.
I think they're just milk
Milk cows.
Sure.
Well, whatever. So we're getting one eventually. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 chickens now.
10 chickens!
10 chickens!
Well, I should probably check this for technical difficulties and whatnot. Bloop. Okay. Still going.
So we have our 10 chickens, and they lay 1 egg every 48 hours, so we don't have a lot of fresh eggs. We're working on it. What else? We have Carol, and then we did have Napoleon. Now we're getting the new Napoleon. Then we have my dog Dan and a cat Molly. And that's it. I brought my dog back with me, but he's in his great because he's kind of
He's
crazy.
fantastic.
Right? He's so nice.
He's so fantastic.
Yeah, that's what I did.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so what we were going to have this podcast was dating horror stories. Do you want to start that off?
I sure can.
Sweet.
So, a lot of my horror stories have to do with the fabulous little app called Tinder. Last year I kind of got into Tinder a little bit just because like all of my roommates were on it and they were constantly like, oh my god, I'm talking to this guy, and I was like, okay, I'll see what the deal is. And so I went on it, I started, and I was like, okay, this is kind of fun. I get to sit here and reject guys instead of them rejecting me for a change.
It's also refreshing to not have a guy reject you.
Exactly.
How lovely.
And so I started talking to this guy, and we talked for like 2 weeks, maybe a month-ish. Like, it was long enough, like, I had his phone number, so, like, we were actually texting. Mm-hmm. I hung out with him, like, once, I think. And then one night, we were sitting there talking, and he's like, so where are you living next year? And I was like, probably here again. Why? And he's like, we should move in together. I love you. And I was like,
no.
What? No. No.
How, did you think it was going that well?
No. Oh, God, no. Like, I still can't even tell you his parents' name or anything.
Oh my god.
And he was like, I really think we should live together, and because, you know, I love you. And I was like,
I don't think that's what's
no.
happening.
I was like,
I've had like
thanks. And then I
acquaintances ask me to move in with them, and I'm like, no. Like just
Yeah.
friends, I'm like, no.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like,
guy.
no.
Man,
Yeah,
that's
and
crazy.
then the funny thing is, so like obviously like we'd like add each other on Facebook and Instagram and all that fun stuff and whatever, and he like still likes my photos and stuff, and like every once in a
Maybe
while
she'll love me if I just keep
yeah,
doing all this
exactly.
stuff.
And every once in a while, like he'll still text me and be like, I think about you sometimes, and I really hope you're doing well, and I'm like, you need to stop.
Yeah.
Like, this is a lot to handle right now. Like,
Jeez.
stop.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Care to share?
Well, okay, so freshman year, a friend of mine started using Tinder, and like I was before anyone really like knew what it was.
Yeah.
And she thought she was just getting all these dates, and she's like, Hannah, I got like 3 more dates. I'm like, really? Because she was like an okay person, but I was just like, I don't know, it was just really strange. Like, you shouldn't be getting this many dates. And then I realized like way later on, I'm like, oh, they're dates. Got it. So I wasn't on Tinder, but I did do Plenty of Fish for a while, which was, it sort of kind of like a joke.
Wait, fish?
Plenty of Fish?
What is that?
It's just a dating app. I didn't really like know much about it, but I saw it like an ad came up on my Facebook, which I guess Facebook thinks that I need a date, which is cool.
So there's that.
So there's that. And I made the profile just kind of like just seeing how many creeps I could reel in, which is bad. But my friend and I were just making fun of it. And then I met this really nice guy. I was like, oh man, like if this works out, you're really kind of bummed about it. Just like, I don't know. People say there's like no stigma anymore for meeting. I'm like, there is.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he I don't know his last name, but his name was Tanner. He was super nice. He was 23. So I was like, okay, like this is interesting. He like owned his own
Not
businesses,
like-
and he was really funny. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. And then we were supposed to go meet for coffee. Like 2 weeks, and I texted like 3 of my guy friends, like, hey, if I don't come back in 3 hours, like let somebody know. Like I just supposed to.
The code word is potatoes.
As nice as he seemed, like he could kill me. So let's just be sure on the safe side. And I actually forgot to text one of my guy friends later, like 4 hours later. He's like, dude, are you okay? I'm like, oh yeah, no, I'm at home.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's fine. Anyway, he didn't show up. And I was like, oh, that's kind of rude. And so I just like dropped it, whatever. And then 2 weeks later, he texted me. He's like, hey, why didn't we, like, what happened to coffee? I'm like, well, I showed up. You did not. And he's like, oh, I don't know, there's miscommunication, whatever. So, like, let's try it again. I'm like, okay, totally. Like, that's fine. Second chances, that's cool. And I sat in a Starbucks for 2 hours by myself again. And he, like, didn't contact me ever again. I was like, why would you? I called him, left a voicemail. I'm like, man, that was super uncool. And I just hung up. It was not very. I did meet this different guy, but it wasn't like a dating guy. It was like this dad and his kids came and sat with me at Starbucks. And we chatted forever, and he's like, what are you waiting for? I'm like, this guy was supposed to come. He was like, what a dick. And I was like, thank you, Tim. It was Tim. And we talked like, he's like, don't ever let anyone say you up again. I'm like, I will not. Thank you, Tim.
I got this. Thank you,
So that
Father.
was-
Starbucks.
I have a lot of Plenty of Fish stories actually, because I made the profile and I forget about it, and
Yeah.
I'll log on forever. I'll log back on and I have like lots of messages, and usually the guys are like, hey, and then they just drop it, whatever, I didn't answer.
exactly.
One guy was like, hey, and then 2 weeks later he was like, bitch, because I didn't respond. And I was like, buddy. Like,
Hey now.
and I said,
This is
it
a
was just
dating
so
website.
funny.
Stop.
It didn't didn't say that I'd read it or anything, so clearly I hadn't gotten it, but he just decided that I was a bitch because I didn't answer his message that went out into the void. And I told him, like, every time that I'm having a bad day, I look back at this message and it makes me laugh because it's so ridiculous. And he went on this whole, like, rant about how he's not going to be anyone's second choice, and he's like, I'm going to wait till someone wants to be with me. I'm like, that's super cool. I really don't want to be with you at all, ever.
Go you.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, have you ever seen the movie Happy Gilmore?
In bits and pieces. I've never seen the whole thing. Is it the one with Adam Sandler?
Yes, but,
okay.
you at least know,
I
like,
guess
how
you
he
know.
talks in, like, the funny
Mhm.
voice and whatever and
Yeah.
whatever. So, back when because, like, I go through phases where I'm like, oh, Tinder sucks. And then I go through phases where I'm like, okay, this is kind of entertaining.
Yeah.
And so, I was back on it again not too long ago. And I had this guy message me, and the message was, so hot, want to touch the hiney, which is a line from that movie. And so,
Okay, I was gonna say, like, you had an accent. I don't know.
yeah, no, exactly. Like, it's
Okay.
a line from the movie. And, like, I caught it right away, and I was like, oh, that's a good movie. I was like, I know what you're doing. I'm not
Yeah.
going to fall for this. And I was like, that's a good movie. And he goes, yeah, my pullout game is strong. I was like, what? That's not a line from the movie.
Oh.
Where do you go with that?
Man! 0 to 100. No, I had a guy do, like, almost not the Happy Gilmore thing, but the same kind of thing. He was like, hey, and I said, hey, what's up? He goes, if I told you, would you sit on it? And I was like, wow.
People are just so clever sometimes.
And at first I was like, okay, that's funny. But like, he really meant for it to be, I didn't respond for like 5 hours. He's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, do you have a mother? Do you? Oh my god. Oh, some guys are just crazy. And guys will like send you like pictures. I'm like, I
don't want to see that. Sorry, technical difficulties. We only have one camera today because it's just the two of us, so there's that. But no, it's back when like Tinder used to have like moments or whatever. You'd like share pictures and they'd stay up for like 24 hours. Basically like a Snapchat story, except you could do it on Tinder too.
Oh wow. I didn't know
All the dick pics. All the pictures. I was like, I'd go through them and I'm like,
Why?
no.
Why? Why? Does
Yes.
anyone think that is an okay thing to
I don't.
do?
Ugh. And like, you can't tell me that there are girls out there that do the same thing.
Yeah, I've never like thought, hey, I like this guy. Kind of. I've talked to him
Like,
2 sentences. Maybe he wants to see my boobs. I've never
I
thought
don't know.
that was a good thing.
or
To send out.
let's just take a picture of my boobs and send it to everybody that had interest to me on this app. Half of them have never even spoken to me.
And the guys that I
hey.
like get, I don't know if sometimes you guys get matched with, or they're like, hey, that they showed interest in you. I'm like, man, you are 40 years old. This one guy was literally, he was 30. And I'm like, man, I am newly 20 years old. Like, this is not going to be
Yeah.
anything. He's like, well, I've got this rock star body. I'm like, I don't care. And he's like, well, when you're 40 and I'm 50, it's not going to make a difference. I'm like, my parents are 40 now. That's going to make a huge difference. Like, I don't think.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Still gonna matter.
Politely decline. I'm not be taking any of your valuable time. I just don't need it. It's
Like,
crazy.
Sorry. But no.
I did go on another date with a guy that did show up. Because every like couple months, I'm like, maybe I just was like too harsh or whatever, or I'm so bored. Just have
so
you ever, like,
oh.
have you ever had a crush on someone and you're like, do I like you or am I just like really bored? And sometimes I'm like, dang it, I'm just bored, I'm sorry. And I stop like just being flirty and they're like, well, what happened? I'm like, I don't want to tell you. I don't want to be mean. And I'm never doing it consciously, like I'm bored, I should mess with the guy. I'm just like, oh, I'm sorry, didn't realize. So I went on a date with this guy and he messaged me first and he was really sarcastic and I was like, okay, it's like funny, I can deal because I'm pretty witty, not to like do my own horn. But he was like, hey, do you want to go throw some rocks at some children? And I was like, I mean, I already did this morning, so like I'm fine right now. So maybe like a little bit later. And he was like, oh my god, like you're really funny, like we should whatever. So we talked for a little bit and everything had to be like so sarcastic, like always on. I'm like, man, this guy has like no depth.
Yeah.
And I met him for coffee because I was like, oh, I want free coffee. I'm like, I
sure.
can swing it.
I got nothing to do today.
I got a book to read. I'll just wait. I actually saw my math teacher the other day too. It was really strange. I was like, David, what are you doing over there with your giant headphones? And I was editing, because I'm writing a book about my ice cream truck, and so I was just editing it while I was waiting for him. And he came over and like picked up and started reading it. And I was like, no one has ever seen this. Like, I'm not ready for people to see my writing.
Yeah.
He just picked it up or whatever. And I was like, hey, can I have that back? And we're just sitting and talking. And he kept like talking about how young I was because he was like 26. I didn't realize that until he showed up, because he said he was 22 online, which I don't know why I fell for it, because he didn't look 22. And he was like, so what are your hobbies besides looking really good in that dress? And I'm like, man. I was like, well, writing, clearly, and like all these other things. He's like, you're just so adorable for your age. I'm like, why are you? Like, you're so smart for your age. I'm like, I'm 20. Like, why is this that so hard? And he's like, oh, just some bars. Oh wait, you can't drink. I'm like, yeah, can you wait 8 months?
What?
Maybe. The date was so terrible. I should have left, but he drove all the way from Omaha. So I didn't want to be a meanie. So I just walked around with him and talked for like a little bit. He like let me talk about myself, but like every time that he was like a one-upper, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I have a dog. He's like, I have 3 dogs. That's really cool. I'm like, I've got 6 siblings. He's like, oh, I only have 3, but like, mine are so much better than yours. I'm like, how could you know? How could you possibly know? Maybe they are, but you could not, no. I just couldn't handle it. So I came back, and Austin, and this was before we were like decent friends too. I think I laid on the floor and was like, that was the worst date ever.
No.
Oh gosh.
I was sitting with my friend, like, cause literally, I don't know why, but all of my friends are like obsessed with Tinder. Like, it's like a big deal for them.
Like, been on it.
I mean, it's okay. I mean, again, it's one of those things. It's like, oh, I'm bored. I feel like rejecting some guys, or oh, I'm bored. Let's talk to some. You know, like it's for me, it's just like whatever. But for my friends, it's like this is their thing, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, whatever. So like, me and a couple of my friends were all sitting in my room last year sometime. And I was talking to this guy. I'd been talking to him actually on the app for like 3 days, I think. Didn't have his number or anything. And he's like, well, what are you doing tonight? And I was like, chilling in my room. Why? And he goes, oh, well, I'll come see you. And I was like...
I've had that too. Like, hey, you want to...
And I was like...
Let's some Netflix. I'm like, no.
Well, and at this point, I was like... Because, I mean, like, we've been talking for a while. But he lived in, like, Kansas City or some shit. Like, I'd matched with him when I was home.
Okay.
And, like, that 45-mile radius is obviously 45 miles, like, different than everywhere else, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not home. Like, I'm in Lincoln. I'm literally, like, 2.5 hours away from you right now. And he goes, oh, it's fine. And so I was like, I mean, I guess. Because, like, we've been talking for a while. And, like, I had friends around. I wasn't really super worried about it. And so he's like, okay, I'm leaving now. Whatever. Like, 4 hours later, nobody shows up. And I was like, oh, shit. And so, like... Then I start to get creeped out, and I, like, look out the window, and there's this old guy, like, pacing back and forth in front of our door. I was like, oh, God, that's him. Oh, God. Like, it's, he catfished me. Mm-hmm. It's, like, I'm gonna die. And, like, and he, like, never came in, though. I was like, okay, we're just not gonna leave. We're gonna stay in here until he leaves. It's gonna be fine. And eventually, like, we just kind of, like, fell asleep and, like, forgot about it. And the next morning he's like, hey, so I showed up, but my phone was dead and I didn't have a charger. I was like, you drove a total of like 5 hours and like, what? Like, what? That makes very little sense to me, sir.
Jeez.
Like,
why do you... I think it's so funny. My sister, she's 16 and she's kind of naive when it comes to internet stuff. She likes to pretend that she isn't. Because she posts this picture of her in a bikini, and, like, my feeling is just very, like, we don't post any pictures like that. Like, it's just, whatever, just, people are creepy. And I was like, girl, you gotta take that down, like, right now. She's like, Hannah, no, like, I know who can see my pictures. I'm like, no, you don't. And she's like, well, I can see, like, the little pictures that they're not a creep. I'm like, oh, right,
because you have big of the picture shows.
That, and, like, what if they post a picture of me, and it was like, hey, nice swimsuit, Victoria, sister. Like, it could be anybody, you don't know.
Yeah.
It's just so funny. It's like, I can see the picture. Like, sure. Go right ahead.
Okay.
I'll miss you when you die.
When you die.
Gosh, but not that much because you're stupid on the internet. She's better now, but...
That's so funny.
It's so funny.
But no, apparently I just have a really bad rap of having guys sit there and tell me they love me within, like, a month.
I did have a guy propose to me after, like, 2 weeks. I was like, whoo. 2 weeks of online talking. I never met him in person. And he was like, so what are you looking for in a marriage? And I was like, okay. Like, whatever, I just... I said whatever, like, normal stuff. Yeah. And he was like, well, we should get married. Like,
no.
So I've gotten dick pics, and I've gotten marriage proposals. So, you know those commercials, like eHarmony or whatever? And aren't you sick of online dating? I'm like, a little bit. Like, you think they're exaggerating. They are not.
Yeah, like, a little bit. It's kind of like, why do I keep this?
Like, a little theatrical, but it's like... like the people that they're on dates with. I was like, oh my god, I made our cake already. And it's like the first date, and the other person's like, what's up? So they're not kidding. Like that's a super.
That's a thing, and it's like
not cool. I've met some nice people too, but it's never not someone that I would date. It's just like,
yeah.
As soon as I get into it, I'm like, I actually don't want to be in a relationship. I really regret this.
Yeah, that's happened to me like 2 or 3 times. Like we've hung out a couple times, and then okay, so I used to work in fast food, like Pizza Hut. I don't really know if you consider that fast food or not, but I used to work at Pizza Hut, and so like it's one of those things. Like I understand when people get really like picky about their food, but then want it the original way anyway. Like if that makes any sense. But so I was talking to this guy, and he was like super nice, and he like lived here and everything. Like we hung out a couple times, but like the first time we hung out, I met him in like the union or whatever, and he had just gotten food, and he's like, hey, sorry it took so long. I had them make me new fries, and I was like, okay, why? And he's like, well, I don't like cold fries, so I tell him I don't want salt on my fries, and then I ask for salt. I was like, that's kind of a dick move.
It is. Especially if you're like, no, I have to get rid of these fries. Someone has to.
Yeah, like, somebody has to. And then, like,
I don't know.
I was like, that's just kind of really a dick move. And so, like, I kind of, like, blew it off. I was like, okay, everybody has their weird quirks, whatever. But then, like, it was a whole bunch of just really odd stuff like that. Like, he doesn't like pizza. And I was like,
who doesn't?
I was like, okay,
like
okay.
Pizza.
But it was just like completely obscure stuff like that. And I was like, okay, nope, I'm done. I'm done. You're super nice, but no, you need to eat like a normal human being. Sorry.
I have this friend whose mom terrifies me. She's a very like strong, powerful person, and she scares me. Like every time I go to a restaurant, like I've gone out to eat with them like 2 or 3 times. And she'll ask for fresh everything, which is like cool. She's very assertive and wants what she wants, but I'm like, I could never ask.
Yeah.
Just because I worked in fast food and I know how little control they have over the timing or whatever.
Yeah.
And if they really mess something up, I'd be like, would you mind?
Yeah.
It's cool. Most of the time I'm like, whatever, it's fine. She's like, I need fresh everything. I'm like, my God. Like this woman is terrifying. I can't.
That'd be so bad. I dislike those people so much.
I actually never, because I know it's a really good rule of thumb, but like if the guy you're dating or whoever you're dating is rude to your waiter, they're a bad person.
Yeah.
But I've never been on a date where someone's really rude. I've been on the receiving end of people being rude, but I've never like been on a date with someone where they're rude, which I guess is good.
I guess, is it bad that I don't think I've ever been on like a normal date?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's bad,
like,
it's just, what do you mean you've never been on? Like,
well,
you've never
like,
dressed up and gone...
Well, I mean, like...
I forgot. I have to tell my worst first date story once we're finished with this.
Okay. But, like, I mean, like, I've been on, like, dates, but, like, we've already been dating. Because, like, in high school, my parents were the ones who was like, oh, you're not going out with some stranger. You can hang out here at the house. And, like, so we'd hang out and watch movies.
My parents do that, too.
Yeah, and so then, like, we'd be actually dating before we'd go on a date, so you know them.
Parents.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
Yeah. And so then, like, in college, we never really, like... I've never really been on like a college date, you know, it's like, oh, let's meet up and get coffee and get to know each other. So it's like, no, but I've never done that.
Oh, I see.
And so
I thought you said I've only done that. I'm like, okay.
No, like I've never done that. And so it's like, it's always just been like, you know, these Tinder guys that I'm like, oh, let's come over, you can hang out at my friend's house, where there's like a group of us.
Yeah.
But it's never, where there's witnesses and I can kick you the fuck out if I want to.
In like the instance where you're hanging out with a lot of people, you can be like, oh, this isn't going well, like we have to go.
Right.
See you later.
Right.
But if you're on a date, you're like, I gotta stick this out.
Yeah.
And then especially if they think it's going well for whatever reason. Oh god, it's so rough. So this guy that I'd been talking to last year, geez, feels like eons ago. He was like really just like a big part of like the friend group that I just started hanging out with or whatever.
Yeah.
So like we're all like really good friends. And he and I kind of had a thing, but it was just to make this other guy jealous. I feel really bad about it. It worked! I feel bad about it. And he was a nice guy. He and I only really like hung out with tons of people. So he was like, oh, we should really go on like an actual date. I was like, totally, I love going on dates. So I got really dressed up. And I told him, I'm like, I'm gonna get dressed up. Like, let me warn you, get dressed up. And I wore a dress that was this color. I love this color, burgundy.
I love that color.
I was gonna wear a lip color like this, but I couldn't find it. Okay. So we borrowed this other guy's car, because neither of us had a car. We drove to this like nice paid I told him I was gonna dress up, and then he paid to pick me up. He's like, I didn't know you were gonna dress up that nice. I'm like, what do you think dress up means?
what does
I was wearing heels. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna dress up.
And hopefully not fall?
Yeah, no, I never fall in my heels.
Oh wait, that's me.
That's you. I don't know. I would just watch everyone else fall. So we went to this restaurant, and I don't know, like just 5 minutes in, I realized I'm like, dude, we have nothing in common.
Ooh.
Like we can talk with like the whole group because everyone's talking. You don't
Right.
notice how little you guys actually talk.
Right.
And I was like, oh, it's so bad. And then I realized like I was coming up with all the questions, and I asked him a couple times. He was being super quiet. I'm like, are you like, did something happen today? Do you want to talk about it? He's like, no, I'm totally fine. His voice is always like, no, I'm fine. But like he's like just I
Yeah.
was like, just be straight with me. And so I realized that I was making all the questions. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna sit and see how long it takes for him to come up with a question. 10 to 15 minutes of silence. Total silence. I only thank the Lord above my Savior that we sat next to a window so I could people watch in Lincoln, Nebraska. So every couple minutes a person would walk by and I'm like, hey, I'm taking with you.
Pay attention to me.
Yeah, it was rough. He must have been just like super nervous
Yeah.
or whatever, but I was like, this is rough. Then we went to a movie afterwards. It was that Let's Be Cops movie. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I loved it. That was a good plus. And I told him on the drive home, I'm like, I really don't think we should take this any further. And he was like really surprised. He was like, well, I thought like you'd be my girlfriend. And I was like, no.
Oh.
We're on very different wavelengths
Oh,
right now. And I went to the guy that I was trying to make jealous, went to his room and cried. And I felt so bad. I was like, I cried for probably 15 minutes. Cause like we're all really good friends, like me and that whole group, and I thought that like us breaking up it was like 2 weeks. It wasn't even like a long thing. But I didn't want to like make any of them mad or make it weird, and I felt so terrible that I was like, what did I do wrong? He's like, you didn't do anything. Whatever, so I cried. He gave me Fruit Loops and it was much better.
Cereal fixes everything.
So that was, I mean, as bad as like the sarcastic date and the not showing up date. What if he like watches this video?
He's like, oh man.
I feel bad.
You get to call, hey, I'm gonna get coffee, and then doesn't show up again.
Jesus. That'd be so mean. Why would you do that to someone? What makes you think like, I'm just gonna not show up? If he was like, hey, I'm not interested, or I have somebody else, and Tim, the dad, was like, he's probably married. I'm like, oh, dang. Like, I didn't even think about it because I was too worried that like he's gonna be a murderer or something.
I love how that's where our minds go. It's not,
it
oh, he already
happens
has
to
a girlfriend. Oh, he's married. It's, oh my god, he's going to kill me.
It's just, let's make sure that he's not, that box is checked first.
Yeah.
Before we move on to maybe he has other relations.
Yeah.
So, he's probably married. And I don't know his last name or anything, so I can't like look him up on anything.
Yeah.
Oh, we were Snapchat friends. For whatever reason. He snapped me like once, he's like, hey, what happened to coffee? I was like, no, nothing, you didn't show up.
You
man.
didn't show up.
Maybe he did. Maybe he showed up, saw me, and left, like both times. No. No.
I doubt that.
That would be just cruel. What if that happened, guys?
What if it was like in a movie where like you both were sitting there waiting for each other and like he thought
No, because I texted him, was like, hey man, this is the table I'm sitting at, and I called him afterwards, was like, bro, that was so mean.
Cool.
But I didn't cry, which is nice.
That's
kept
good.
it together.
That's good.
I can't remember the last time I cried over a boy. That was probably that date from 2 years ago.
Go you.
But yeah, I just don't. Boys don't deserve it.
No.
The ones that stand me up. Who needs them? Gosh, yeah, I've had a lot of bad dates.
That's so funny though. Oh my.
Man. So you've never been on a real date? That's so interesting.
Yeah. No.
Are you like talking to anybody now?
Not really.
Me neither.
So single. So single.
But then sometimes I'm like, oh, it's just really sad. Like I should be dating someone, because a lot of my cousins that are my age, or like 2 or 3 years older, are getting married and having kids. I'm like, oh, like I'm not ready for this. Like I want it, obviously, but just not today.
Yeah. Well, that's my thing. Is like from my high school. So like me and my mom do photography, like wedding photos and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Austin's letting me do his video, and I'm so excited.
What video?
His like wedding video.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
So excited.
Oh wait. Okay, yeah. Later. It's okay.
But like, and so like
Oh, my hair smells good.
And so, like, literally, like, all of the people I went to high school with, one is married and has a baby, one has a baby and she's a year younger than me, one almost got married and is a year younger than me, one is getting married, she's the same grade as me, I have, like, 3 other friends that I've made in college that are getting married. One of my best friends from like since birth basically is getting married, and I'm over here like.
It's not even like, oh, I have a
pets.
boyfriend and I'm going to be getting engaged within the next couple of years. It's like I'm totally
I am
and I have
blown.
which is fine. I don't want my sisters to think that they have to get married super young.
Yeah.
But the pressure, just the whole room, like there's my apartment and the one next to us that has 4 girls. 3 of them are already engaged, and the 4th one's going to be getting engaged. Like, why?
I don't even care to really even have a relationship. Like, I have so much crap going on that I'm like, I don't have time for this.
I want to finish my education. I want to like spend time with my family. Yeah.
But like, I would at least like to be like talking to somebody, or at least know that it's a possibility.
Yeah.
Because right now it's kind of like, okay, I'm a junior. I have a year left. And even then, I really only have like a semester because second semester next year I'm going part-time student.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, well.
And like you can be people outside of school. Obviously, people do it all the time.
all the time. But I just
But,
feel
like,
like
what
it's
if it
so
doesn't
much
happen
harder.
for me?
Yeah. You just feel like, oh crap.
People keep not showing up, just not talking to me, and just avoiding me altogether.
Yeah.
So clearly, I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe it's this color. Maybe boys just don't like my
But
burgundy
that
type.
color is fantastic.
It is though.
I love that color.
Even if I'm alone, I'll wear all these colors all the time. I'll just get more dogs.
Yeah. You can just be that lady, because like this is my future plan. If I don't have a husband, after I turn 25, I'm gonna get a dog for every Valentine's Day I'm alone. So instead of being like a crazy cat lady,
All right.
I told my mom
Alright.
that is so not
can happen.
accurate. Not accurate. I just think it's funny. I told my mom that, and she got genuinely concerned for me.
That you were gonna keep getting
Yeah,
dogs.
that I was gonna keep getting dogs. I'm like, Mom, are you kidding me? I can barely take care of myself. I'm not.
Yeah. Well, and
I want a dog, and
my
that's
dog.
it.
I thought about it too. I'm like, I can collect dogs. Easy. Love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But I have the perfect dog, and he's ruined all other dogs for me. So I don't want to get dogs that's going to be exactly like
Yeah.
Dan. Because the people that I nanny for, they have a big golden retriever, and he's still kind of a puppy. He's like 7 months old, 8 months old. And he has so much energy, and I'm like, man, it's 5:45 in the morning. I don't have time for you. Like, I just need, because Dan will just like lay on you. He's like, how's it going? I'm like, it's so good. Like, I just need a fleet of Dans. That would be so great.
A fleet.
And they're all medium sized. His legs are like,
They're so short. They're so cute.
yeah. So that's where I am.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Is like, I want a dog before I want a
I'm
boyfriend.
just super happy that I don't have any older siblings that are getting married.
Oh my god, that'd be so hard.
Austin's little brother's getting married before him.
Yeah.
Thunder Stealer. Why?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still happy for him. It's crazy. He's so young.
Yeah.
But I mean, good for him.
I know.
Yeah,
Oh, absolutely.
That's cool.
Absolutely, that's fantastic.
I'm so excited for Liz and Austin's wedding.
Oh, I'm stoked.
I don't even know what dress I'm gonna wear. I should already stop. I'm probably gonna wear this. If we're being real.
I've literally talked to Liz like maybe 3 times now, because like since me and Austin just kind of became friends, and I'm so stoked. I'm like, everything he tells me new, I'm just like, yes.
Because I've never had like friends that I'm so close to get
Yeah.
married. It's always been like cousins that I know since I was little, but like
Yeah.
we're not really close. So it's really cool.
Well, like they're like they get married what next year?
May 21st, 22nd.
Yeah.
I know that
2017
Jack's
though.
2017. Yeah.
Right. And so like they're getting married next year, and like one of my best childhood friends from like forever ago, like literally we've been friends since basically birth. Like she didn't really have me in any of the wedding.
Oh.
Because when she got to college, she ended up having like a group of like 5 really close girls.
Mhm.
Well, 5's a basic number plus her sister. You know, it kind of takes up most of the
Yeah.
room.
Oh, that is super nice. I don't know, like, because Liz doesn't have any sisters. She's like,
Yeah.
this is my maid of honor. I'm like, oh, it's a big decision. Because I have Victoria and Rachel, so we're gonna do that whole like friends thing, like Monica, Phoebe,
Yeah.
and Rachel did. We don't have to talk about it now, but like obviously I'm gonna have one of my sisters be my maid of honor. I try to talk so fast, like I'm in a race. Like someone's gonna cut me off if I don't get it out soon enough. So that's always comforting. Do you have any sisters or anything?
No, I'm an only child. Yeah.
Yeah. You can borrow one of my sisters if you want. I've got a plethora of siblings. I wanted to be Austin's best man so bad.
It'll happen. See, with him not here now, we could like be plotting. We could have just plotted the whole time.
Okay, what are the odds that he's gonna watch this?
Oh, like 1 in 100. No. No, that was poor. That was poor odds. Like, I get it's probably a 50-50 shot that he watches this.
I can't take that chance. I can't. I've got a plan. And it's so beautiful. Yeah, like, watch out, Lucas. Actually, I've never met Lucas, but I bet if I did, I'd be like, bro, step down. Like,
this is me.
I'm too close to this.
I got this.
Yeah. For a while, I thought it was actually really gonna happen. Well, sad it didn't. I was gonna do the whole, like, half bridesmaid. Assuming Liz would ask me to be the thing.
Yeah.
I would have half bridesmaid, half suit.
So you can like face the
And then I want
way.
like a veil that's made of flower petals, so that when I walk down the aisle, I'm also the flower girl.
Yes.
They fall off one by
Yes.
one. Yeah, actually, that was gonna be my my plan for being at Demi Lovato's wedding.
Yes, we talked about
But she's not engaged yet. I missed the Grammys because I was driving back last night, but I like went on YouTube and tried to find her.
Oh, her
little,
dress was
wasn't it? She looks so good.
prime.
Man, she got a Snapchat.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, she got a Snapchat, and
Like a fan Snapchat or whatever?
What do you mean?
Like what kind of Snapchat?
Like she Snapchats everyone.
Oh.
Yeah. So she's just like, I don't know. I feel like we're really like good friends now. She's like, oh my gosh, guys, look at my dog. I'm like, look at your dog.
Look at it, I have a dog too. We're like best friends.
She's trying to pick out her jewelry for the Grammys. She's videotaping. She's like, guys, this is $11.5 million worth of diamonds. I'm like, what? Like, thank you for including me in this decision. I'm so glad.
I feel really honored.
Our friendship is being validated. So, not that I could contribute, but I was like, that one. And she wore the one that I picked.
Yes!
She had like 3 to choose from. What are the odds? But
It's okay, that's how I feel with Josh Peck.
Oh,
I have him on Snapchat. And he sits there and does all these like stupid little voices, whatever. They're not stupid, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
But, like he does like these different voices and he has like Ting Talk with Jennifer and like he'll go like all white girl, whatever. And they're just freaking hilarious. And I'm like, yeah, I feel you.
Gosh.
I got this. We're best friends now. It's fine.
I just want him and Drake Bell to be best friends forever.
I know.
I never wanted Drake and
I feel
Josh
like they
Peck.
are though.
I don't think they still are.
Yeah.
He
'cause,
like will post pictures of him like high-fiving Drake on TV, like
yeah. Well, that and like I know Drake guest starred in a episode of Grandfathered, that new show that Josh did.
Oh, I
yeah.
forgot. Is it good?
I haven't actually seen it, but I just saw like clips of it when they were like advertising it. And apparently there was one scene where where Drake comes up and was like, "Hey, do I know you?" And Josh goes like, I don't think so. Why?" And he goes, "I don't know. You just look a lot like my friend. But I mean, there's no way. He's in jail. He hit Oprah."
I just want Josh Peck and Oprah to be best friends.
All the time.
What?
That's all I need in life.
Gosh, I forgot how much I love that show. Actually, it was on Teen Nick like a couple days ago, and I watched
Yes.
3 episodes. It's like when you're older, you're like, oh, this joke's kind of stupid, but then you're also like, that was my childhood.
They're fantastic.
Gosh, Hannah Montana was on Netflix for like a hot second,
Oh yeah.
like a year or 2 ago.
Like the good Hannah Montana.
The good Hannah Montanas, yeah. Gosh,
Absolutely.
so fun. We went so off topic from dating. We aren't even talking about it anymore.
I mean, can
Okay.
I just make it full circle and say I date Josh Peck?
Yeah.
There, full circle.
I date Demi. If she walked in here and was like, be my girlfriend, of course.
Of course.
I'm not even a lesbian, but yes.
Yes.
I would totally do it. I thought she was going to get engaged on Valentine's Day, and I was really sad she didn't. It's
Yeah.
cool. One more last. But they're like 12 years apart, which I think is a huge age gap.
Yeah.
It's really. Isn't it supposed to be like, for a guy, half their age plus 7? Isn't that
I
like,
think I've heard that.
Yeah.
But then what is it for? Then what's it? Oh, I guess
For
then it'd be the
girls?
same for the girl. It'd be
Like if I were to date a guy younger than me?
yeah,
Yeah, I think it's the same.
the same. That seems weird to me. For some reason, if the guy is
Ew,
older,
I'd be dating a 17-year-old?
Yeah.
Ah, no thank you.
See, that's the thing. That's the
I
thing.
don't
Like, I feel
that.
like for a guy, it's like normal to be like younger. You know, like I feel like
Yeah.
that's just kind of what you think of. But like for a girl, I feel like that's weird. I mean, like, granted, I can't really talk. The last guy I dated we were 2 years different.
Maybe. My mom is 3 years older than my dad.
Yeah.
Actually, both my grandmothers are older than my grandfathers, which is cool.
Yeah.
I just don't want to date somebody younger than me.
But I also feel like 17's different than like.
It's
Okay, technical difficulties one last time. But yeah,
it's good. It's a good podcast.
I think it was. We broke the record. We've gone almost an hour. We're like, I think what, 5 minutes away.
Wow, I
a
thought it was
full
gonna be
hour.
like a half hour.
Oh, I know.
max.
I honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I thought for sure we'd get in here and we'd be like,
I did too. I was like, this is gonna be interesting. But we
got
did a
this.
pretty good job. Ah.
We got this. We can talk. We're
Cool.
girls, let's be real. So, yeah.
Talking about boys, we can talk about this for 2 hours. Dare us. Dare you. Dare you to dare us.
But really, just imagine if Joey would have been here for this podcast.
I know.
He
Poor
literally
guy.
sat in the corner and been like,
He's just the sweetest human that's ever existed. And I
yeah.
wouldn't want to put him through this. It's
I
just
know.
not.
Because I feel like, except granted, I really kind of want to know what stories he has.
I know!
Because he is so quiet. It is just like,
No, I have a buddy of mine is in Germany right now, and I sent him one of our podcasts to listen to. It was like, just give me feedback, whatever. And he was like, it was really good. Just have, like, that guy only said like 2 words. I'm like, I know!
That's all he
He
says.
said more! Yeah, I think he watched the one where we had the gun story that we had to cut.
oh, yeah.
But we should do just a Joey dating history. That could be a nice podcast, or dating history. Austin has one other girlfriend that he did for a month. So Austin might just shut up
We
for
can
once,
just-
which is great.
We can just add Joey's on to our next sequel thing we're doing. We
What
talked about last
sequel?
Tuesday, the blind dates.
Oh, I forgot we were doing that.
Yeah. Be on the lookout. That's going to be a thing
We're doing
eventually.
blind dates.
Blind dates. We're all setting each other up with blind dates. And Austin's just going to be the
I
overlooker of
sent
it all.
out a mass text to a bunch of my guy friends. I was like, hey, who wants to go on a blind date for video? None of them responded. Some of them was like a joke, like, oh my gosh, this guy will do it. I'm like, seriously though, like, I need someone.
Really.
Really. Yeah, so that's
But
gonna be.
that'll be on the lookout. Be looking out.
It's gonna be. We have a lot of planning and a lot of executing,
Yeah. Probably won't be for a while, but it's coming.
but it's coming.
I think next is 12 Steps coming up live here pretty soon.
Yes, which is gonna be good.
Which hopefully we'll put that up tonight, maybe. At
Oh.
meeting.
Shoot, we have a meeting tonight.
Yeah, we do.
I am babysitting,
Okay, cool. Well,
but just
we'll
call
talk
me
about it without
and
you.
we can speakerphone it.
Okay, cool.
Okay, well
So, we're gonna wrap it up.
Thank you so much for watching.
Tell us your blind date stories.
Yes.
Or non-blind
Tinder
dates.
stories.
Tinder stories.
Online dating.
All the terrible stories. Tell them.
Just the worst date that you've ever had. Let us
Basically.
know about it.
Let us know.
If you've had a day that also had 10 to 15 minutes of silence, let's make a club and cry over how awful it was. It was just so
Do it.
awkward.
Do it.
But yeah, like, comment, subscribe.
Yep.
Keep an eye out.
Awesome. See you next week.
Bye.